welcome. If you clicked on this video, welcome. I'm just going to kind of ramble in here, and because it's something I've wanted to do. Since I saw the job trailer, I wanted to get this video out there because I wanted to get my thoughts out there. But a lot of it revolves around Dragoon, the changes to Dragoon, the rotation, some of the new effects, even some of the old effects of what I don't like about Dragoon right now. I also wanted to kind of, dive into Reaper, what I want to see from Reaper, what I saw from the trailer, and what I think is going to be fun about Reaper. There's obviously no potencies out right now. There's obviously no, there's no data. There's some translated data you can get, but I don't trust that because it's in a media tour build. It's subject to change. We have 2 months till Endwalker, so everything could change. They could change their minds at the last second. Say, yep, it's a pure DPS. So like that field you saw in the beginning, that doesn't exist anymore. Okay. Or the casting thing that Reaper does at the beginning, that's just instant forever. But the ability that comes with it is 50% less strength. That's fine. I don't care. I really want to just play the classes at this point, and I think it would be fun to give my opinions on it. Reminder: this is an opinion video. Nothing is 100% set in stone. So that being said, let's look at the Dragoon trailer and go over that. So things I liked in this a lot were the fact that I don't have to juggle anymore. Juggling was such a pain during, long boss transitions. During T, there's a 1.5-minute boss transition where you're stuck doing nothing. And as a Dragoon, you get to start over from square one every single time. The updated Chaos Thrust is going to be super nice, but the fact that they kept positionals makes me really happy because it looks like we get rewarded for doing it. Getting your Raiden thrusts off, getting your positionals off, it just kind of amplifies how much more important Raiden will be. As far as the scales and what this final attack is, I'm not sure, but I'm super excited for it. And while this is playing, I kept the rotation in here that I use, and I slowed it down, and there's a reason for that. Because I wanted people who may or may not know what my rotation is. It's kind of the same as the balance, but it's a little bit different. Not a whole lot different because it's the most static melee you can have in this game. But those scales are going to make a big difference because your boss positionals are going to make a big difference. If you have those tanks that love to sit there and spin the boss, at the last second, or the boss loves to turn at the last second, it's like True North is going to be really big. During the live letter, they talked about how there were major changes to Dragoon, but they didn't talk about getting your damage up buff on your AoE combo. And I saw Disembowel was still in there, so that means that there's potentially still doing 2 single target GCDs just to go into AoE combo. I don't know. I'm really afraid of that, but from a complexity standpoint and from kind of a flex standpoint, I feel like Dragoon has come to become, how do I want to say this? This has become the starter melee. Samurai is, high damage, relatively easy rotation, but you don't lose a lot by just kind of missing a positional. You might, you miss Kenki, but that's really about it. My Samurai mains can correct me ad nauseum. Feel free. But Dragoon was in that weird place, and it's been in a weird place for a long time. Whereas a lot of people play it because it's fairly flashy. It's a staple of the series, and it's just I feel like people can get into Dragoon easier than they can some of the other classes. That being said, what I really liked from the live letter was the fact that it looks like Dragoon is going to be kind of a starter class, right? Like, you'll be able to pick it up right away. You can get to it from level 1. You don't need anything special to get to it. And the really nice thing about it is that it's so rigid, you don't really have to think, and you can pay attention to mechanics, right? So you can do what you need to get through a fight. And it, there's like the flash, it's like, oh, I backflipped on this kid and, flexed on this boss. Okay, well, that's great and all. I'm happy for you. But at the end of the day, it seems more like, seems like Dragoon is getting relegated to the easy introduction melee. That, like, once you know the basics of it, it's gonna be really easy for you to keep going. It's pretty hard to screw up Dragoon unless you do all AoEs for a single boss, which I have seen happen. And to those people, I think they just don't know. Like, nobody's ever told them. Like, as far as like a melee class goes, there is nothing that says, go max melee. This is what max melee is. This is what an uptime is. Like, there's nothing in the game that tells you that. You have to go out and find your own resources for that, which is kind of scuffed. I mean, like, there's balance. There's good people on the balance that can teach you stuff, and there's bad people on the balance. I mean, there's bad people everywhere. Someone might call my advice bad advice. I openly share my logs, so come at me. But I feel like Dragoon is going to be the base level melee job. It's got support, so it'll be needed, but from a damage standpoint, I think it's going to sit at the bottom of Endwalker. And I think it's going to sit there, again, because it's so rigid and because of Reaper and Samurai and Monk. And we'll go into Reaper here in the next few seconds. So the first thing I gotta say about this trailer is I was completely blown away by it. I didn't know how they were going to do this. I had no clue really past what we had seen what was going to happen. But like the the collective hype as it was when we were watching this, or at least when I was watching this with my static, was kind of overbearing, and it was really easy to get super excited about it. I mean, it's just like, it takes Dragoon Flash and just amplifies it. It's fast. It looks like it's going to be fast. It's going to hit hard. Looks like it's a combination of everything. It's got teleporting elusive built in. It's got flat, like that. That's a flashy move. And right here, like, this is supposed to be extremely fast. When Yoshi did the transition, or did the gameplay, it was extremely fast, and it looked like it would be extremely rewarding. I can't wait to dive into it. I think that this job is what I wanted in an advanced job. It has setup. It's got mobility. It has like, it looks like it's gonna have certain things you do to activate other things. It looks like it's gonna be crazy buff oriented. It looks like it's gonna be fast paced. It's just kind of got a little bit of everything, and that's why I'm really excited about it. They talked about not making this job brain dead, and the only thing I can think of is Gunbreaker. Gunbreaker, when it came out, was ridiculous, right? It's still ridiculous. At level 70 content, there's no beating it. It just has most of its kit, and it's just incredibly strong. I think that this particular job is going to have somewhat of the same effect, but it's not going to be just, I push 1, 2, 3 and I win. It definitely seems to me like it's going to be, if you don't put the time in, you're not going to do, amazing numbers with this. And that's my goal. My personal goal is to, to sit there and be, better than most of the population. And when I say better, right, I want to score higher. I want to prove, myself to no one other than myself that I didn't just grab a job because of the hype behind it. That this job just is basically everything I've ever wanted in a melee DPS. The Shroud is kind of whack. That I didn't expect. I think it's extremely cool, but it's not what I would have gone with. I probably would have been more, just straight up, scythe flare and stuff to that effect. I would have loved to have seen this job just completely blow the rest out of the water. It's not going to be better than Samurai. It's probably not even going to be better than Monk. Monk rework looks really solid. I know a bunch of my high-level friends, they want to play Monk. And they put in the time to learn from behind that. And so, I think that looking at Reaper, it's what I would describe as an advanced job. And that advanced job means that you can probably pick it up and get by with it, but to really know how to play the job, to really know how well you're doing, is going to take time and practice. And for me, that's really exciting. I put in 7 years on Dragoon now, and every single moment of it I loved, but it's definitely to the point where it's just wow, I really have nowhere else to go. I try my best, and I realize that I'm not going to be the number 1 Dragoon. That's not how that works. I'm not to that effect yet. But I really think that it would be great to be able to have that. So, I think Reaper is going to do exactly what I want it to do. And it's going to reward people who go into high-end content, but it's going to be fun for those who just want to do a trials. They just want to do EX trial, or, they just want to do a dungeon. They just want to run dungeons. They don't want to invest 1 million hours into this game just to have a shiny little website that says, yeah, you got you ranked 40 or something like that. They don't care about that. And I think that's fine. I think for a lot of people, it'll be a lot of fun. But for me, I see it as a challenge, and I am more than willing to accept that challenge. I actually can't wait for that challenge. But if there are others who think I'm wrong, please tell me. But for a shameless plug, if you think I'm wrong, come tell me when I'm live, because you will get more honest answers from me by talking to me face to face than dropping, a comment and expecting a reply within the next day. Because I'll tell you what, I don't look at that stuff. I don't care. I would rather interact with people real time. So, that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you listening to the ramblings of, a nerd. And I hope that this video was at least a little bit informative to you. If it wasn't, I'm sorry. I'll try and do better in the next one, but I'm gonna take this a little bit more seriously. So until the next time, stay safe, and we'll see you possibly out in the game. And I hope I go adventuring with you later.